As I mentioned, the executive orders that led to delays in funding for those programs have been all over the news. It's an important story to tell, but not all of President Trump's orders are getting big headlines, even when the stories and affected programs are just as important. Tonight, we want to talk about another executive order, one that seems to have gone under the radar. It's time for another installment of
Order Up.
We start with Executive Order 14163, or realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program. The president signed it on his first day in office. It suspends federal support for refugee resettlement programs. It reads in part, the United States lacks the ability to absorb a large number of migrants, and in particular refugees, into its communities. Now, these programs have a foothold in North Carolina. The refugees they help may be your neighbors. They come from all over the world: Afghanistan, Rwanda, Syria. WRAL's Chris Lovingood heard from a group in Durham afraid that they could lose their funding for good.
World Relief has offices across 11 states, including here in North Carolina. The director of the Durham office says the executive order that suspended all refugee resettlement programs is creating uncertainty for the people it's supposed to help.
What that meant was, at least for our agency, 129 persecuted people that had just been brought here by the State Department were basically left without support. So they were at risk of homelessness.
129 people from various countries, such as Afghanistan, Rwanda, and Syria, each here for reasons ranging from fleeing religious persecution to escaping gang violence. They could experience homelessness if they don't receive money for rental assistance. This is money Clark says they were supposed to get from the State Department.
Usually they only get maybe 2 or 3 months of support, and then they're off to a good start, paying taxes, contributing to our community.
And contributing to our economy. Last year, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services released a report about the fiscal impact of refugees. It said between 2005 and 2019 that refugees and asylum seekers added nearly $125 billion to the economy. HHS says that means these groups of people contributed more revenue than it cost the government to support them. People such as Vayant Bizigiro.
I benefited from all the benefits which all refugees deserve to receive.
Bizigiro came to the United States 3 years ago from Rwanda, and before that, he was in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where fighting has been going on for decades. Now he's an employee with World Relief. He still understands what's at risk if other refugees don't receive help.
If you have people already who are disconnected from their home countries, they are in transit countries with a dream one day to come to a more safer country than where they are now.
Clark also notes that some people sold all belongings while overseas, thinking they'd be in America soon, and now they're stuck.
But there is still an opportunity for those people to come and to be reunited with their families. If we advocate to our elected officials that we would like to see the program resume, just like it did the first time during the first Trump administration.
The Trump administration makes it clear the United States has been overwhelmed with the number of migrants coming to our country. It argues the U.S. does not have the ability to take in so many migrants, including the tens of thousands of refugees. But as Adam Clark with World Relief says, these are people the government assured would get help once they came stateside. For WRAL News, I'm Chris Lovingood.
A bit of context here. According to the Immigration Research Initiative, North Carolina took in just over 17,000 refugees between 2013 and 2023, far fewer than many other states. Ohio, Washington, Michigan, Texas, New York, and California all took in more than 20,000 in that time. So what's next? The Secretary of Homeland Security and Secretary of State have until April to look into the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program. They'll tell the president if they think the program should continue as is, continue with cuts, or go away completely. We'll continue to keep an eye on what they decide.